How you going, you big bloody beautiful wankers? Here's me face. So less than a week ago, the non-profit organisation PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, put up a few tweets on the web for internet users to give feedback on. The tweets were in regards to Steve Irwin. They fired shots. They fired shots at a dead Steve Irwin. He's been dead for almost 13 years. And for the last week on Twitter, PETA has been like, just firing shots. Not even John Wick fires this many shots when someone's dead, and he's a professional hitman. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent already. The tweets were in response to a Google Doodle. If you never saw that, fuck me, that sounds stupid to say out loud. A Google Doodle is what they were responding to. Here's the doodle. You can see there's Steve-O, he's holding the crocodile, and Google did this because it was his birthday, February 22nd. He would be 57 years old. So let's have a look at the tweets PETA put out in response to the Google Doodle. Hashtag Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. He dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile and wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Today's hashtag Google Doodle sends a dangerous fawning message. Wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats. Part 2. Steve Irwin's actions were not on target with his supposed message of protecting wildlife. A real wildlife expert and someone who respects animals for the individuals they are leaves them to their own business in their natural homes. It is harassment to drag exotic animals, including babies taken from their mothers, around from TV talk shows to conferences and force them to perform as Steve Irwin did. Animals deserve to live as they want to, not as humans demand. The hashtag Google Doodle, hashtag Google Doodle should represent that. It's a good pen. It's my favourite pen. There's a lot to unpack there. There is a lot to unpack. I don't mind the initial knee-jerk emotional reaction of hashtag fuck PETA and just being like, oh, stop it, just shut up. Like, I kind of get it, and that's probably my knee-jerk reaction as well. I've tried to ruminate on this for a few days before I get on the internet and be angry. So I do understand that response, but these face reviews are all about layers and digging a bit deeper. It feels good to have anger and conviction and just be like, fuck you, you fucking shit cunts, and we all get to do that. But let's go deeper, people. Let's really try to unpack this. Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. Harassing immediately feels exaggerated. It feels hyperbolic, and people are getting more cautious of hyperbole on the internet, which I think is a great thing. I suppose it's a matter of perspective. Yeah, he would run up, he would handle animals. Maybe they didn't want to be touched. Sometimes they were being rescued, like a fucking displaced crocodile. You know, he had to touch it, he had to grab it, he had to get it out.
Terry and I don't believe in using drugs and crocodiles. We'll put our bodies on the line before we'd ever do that.
I certainly wouldn't mind if I was in a burning building and a fireman grabbed me and touched my ass and passed me over to a ladder. Fine, I'm not gonna get fired up about it. Anyway, he dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile. I haven't seen that footage for a long time. Let's go over it. Let's go have a look. There's Steve-O holding a bit of meat in his right hand to feed the croc, and he's holding Robert Irwin, his son Bob, in his left hand there. And he gives Bob a little walk along the grass. He's keeping his eye on the croc. He holds him up. Yay, I'm a dad. Fuck yes, everyone. Oh yeah, there's Jacko hanging his baby over a balcony. The two situations got compared. I suppose the difference is Steve-O was in his professional environment. He'd been around crocs with his dad his whole life. So on this day, he judged the limits well. He pushed the limits. Look, this is what he was known for, and it's dangerous. And he is a bit of a goose, and he is a galah, and he is a larrikin, and that's why the world loves him as well. So it can be hard to watch. It's like, fuck me, mate, that's dangerous. What are you doing? it ended up okay in this instance. So should we be talking about it 15 years later? Like, how much do you keep judging someone's past actions? Like, if I met my great-granddad Tom and I was like, "Oi, great-granddad Tom, why'd you kill all those people?" He'd be like, "What are you talking about, you smug, judgmental fuckwit? I was in 2 world wars." I don't know, criticism 15 years later? All right, sure. It is good to reflect on, I suppose.
I am an educator, but I'm not sitting there reading out of the textbook explaining to you how the Andean condor is eating the carcass of the buffalo. I'll take you there, mate. I'll get you excited, I'll get you passionate, and I'll get you enthusiastic about wildlife, wilderness, and conservation. That's how I do it.
And wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Now, a lot of what he did, and especially before he became famous, was relocation. His dad and, his family was into conservation too. I think that is something to remember. That's a huge thing to remember.
We're in far north Queensland. That's my stomping ground. And the capture and relocation of crocodiles, we take very seriously.
And then he went on to commercial success. So there's a bigger perspective of like, well, okay, PETA, did the commercial success outweigh the conservation work? And his passion and his love of animals and wanting to educate people on animals as well. Today's hashtag Google Doodle sends a dangerous fawning message. Steve Irwin's actions were not on target with his supposed message of protecting wildlife. This comes back to what I just spoke about. Did his commercial success start to corrupt or overshadow his conservation work? I don't think so. Honestly, I'm ticking the no box on that one. I don't think he ever lost his sense of heritage or who he was, where he came from, how he'd grown up. I don't think he ever lost that. His heart was in the right place the whole fucking time. I'm gonna stand by that.
I believe that education is all about being excited about something. So if we can get people excited about animals, then by crikey, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to save them. Irwin said that he knew people were more likely to become invested in a conservation project when they were emotionally invested in the animals. So he made it a point to share his own crazy, zany enthusiasm.
It is harassment to drag exotic animals, including babies taken from their mothers. Here's where the language starts to feel exaggerated and hyperbolic again. Harassment to drag, matter of perspective and context. We don't know how Steve and animals met on every occasion. To drag exotic animals, travel conditions are probably less than ideal when you got to move an animal, but hopefully they're not stressed too much around from TV talk shows to conferences and force them to perform, as Steve Irwin did. I don't recall him forcing animals to perform. He displayed them, but this makes it sound like he was the founder of SeaWorld, not the fucking Wildlife Warriors Conservation Park, Force them to perform. This is another big tin of worms, and PETA has doubled down on it. They put out fresh tweets yesterday. Stop using animals on the show. It's exploitation, plain and simple. Animals are not ours for entertainment. It's not all entertainment. There is an educational aspect. I don't know if that's worth just crossing out entirely. They don't want to be on your show. Let wild animals stay wild. Stop exploiting for a segment. CC Irwins. So they're taking a swing at Robert Irwin as well, Steve's 15-year-old son, because Bob has been on Jimmy Fallon a lot, and he was on Jimmy Fallon the other day.
How good's that? This is Joseph. He's got a very cute name.
He really
He's
does.
a good boy.
Is there anything more I can handle but different animal?
Okay, no worries. There you go,
That's a
Joseph.
little frightening, sorry.
It's funny that the cat is the one that actually freaks the fuck out at the end. We think of them as the most domesticated animal, and it's that one that freaks out on live TV. It's not funny. It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny. Most of them don't look too stressed. He doesn't spend long with the animals. I'm sure things have naturally developed over the years. If you look at the way people work with animals 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago in the entertainment industry, I'm sure it's gotten a lot better. One of my favourite movies when I was a kid was Milo and Otis. If you showed me behind the scenes footage of Milo and Otis, I'm sure it was fucked.
Milo was teasing a crab that was waddling through the farmyard. But this time, someone got the best of Milo.
Should animals be involved in the entertainment industry at all? it's a fair enough discussion. It's fair enough to be thinking about that. I don't think PETA's end goal of wanting humans to just leave animals alone or just getting some space between us in regards to our coexistence is evil. I don't think it's necessarily evil. I also don't know if it's realistic either, because we do coexist no matter what. I wonder what someone at PETA does when, like, a mouse gets in their house and shits in their toaster or something. What do they do? Do they go, oh, it's fair game because you crossed into my territory? Or are we just always on their territory? What about ants? When you get like a line of ants coming in the summer, does someone from PETA just like spray the shit out of them? What about flies? When someone from PETA visits Australia and we have all these flies, what do?
How's these flies looking right in my eyes? It's so dry and hot out here, the flies are coming into my eyes for a drink.
Look, there's my critical analysis for the time being, and we'll see what else PETA puts out on Twitter in the next few days. They're probably going to double down and keep milking this, or maybe they'll look at different angles and try to have a productive conversation. Anyway, look, let's leave it there. Okay, thanks very much for watching. See ya.